What's up, y'all? JC here, and it is hot as a motherfucker up in here. Jeez, wow. So yeah, since there was no One Piece chapter last week, I took it upon myself to reread the Fishman Island arc from the beginning chapter all the way up to the last chapter we had, which was chapter 645, if I'm correct. And pretty much my thoughts have changed. My thoughts have changed about this arc after rereading it and marathoning it. And I gotta say this, thirsty. This is a pretty good arc. It's pretty good when you marathon it. See, I knew this was gonna happen. This happens sometimes with One Piece chapters, and I can understand it. So, pretty much, even though the chapters do come out like once a week, there are some arcs that work better when you like have them all together when you marathon them and you read like one chapter after the next. I think the main reason most people are complaining about this arc is because they're only getting one chapter a week. And that's like, what, 18 pages a week? And y'all know how impatient manga fans are. So yeah, you got one chapter a week. But the thing is, when you're rereading it, you got like the first chapter, the second chapter, you just read you just read to the next chapter and keep going on instead of just stopping and waiting for an entire week for the next chapter to come out. And this arc, it works a lot better. It works a lot better, together in one set when you marathon it. Yeah, I found out that I enjoyed this arc a lot when I reread it, because I don't know, it was kind of fast paced. I discovered this. The beginning of the Fishman Island arc is really fast paced. Like, I mean, you have like the first chapter, you get to Fishman Island, and then the same chapter, you see Cammy, you get to the Mermaid Cove, and then all stuff happens, and Straw has to go to Rigu Palace, Holy Jones comes, It happens like in the span of like 4 or 5 chapters. That's like very fast paced right there. And it kind of slows down when you get to the Orihime and Tiger flashback. Because once that flashback happens, it's like 6.5 chapters of backstory. And it kind of slows down. Now, the flashback wasn't bad. It was a good flashback. I liked the flashback, but I don't know. I didn't really care for Orihime. I mean, I liked her. I mean, I sympathize with her, but I didn't really like her that much because she just seemed to be forcing her ideals onto the people of Fishman Island. She's like, oh, well, you guys gotta sign this signature. We gotta make peace with the humans. She just kept doing that. I mean, she was pretty much like a one-trick pony. She just kept doing that throughout the entire flashback. We didn't really get to see more of her character, learn more about her. She was just constantly talking about, oh, you guys gotta sign the signature so we go to the Reverie and all that other stuff. I mean, we saw her, bonding with her children, but that was pretty much it. We didn't see her and Neptune, bonding like husband and wife. They weren't doing any of that stuff. And she really didn't have anything else beyond the whole, signature deal. And Fisher Tiger, I enjoyed Fisher Tiger a lot when I reread the flashback. It's a shame we didn't get to see more of Fisher Tiger. I would have really liked to see more of him. We may see more of him, but I don't know. But we really should have saw more of Fisher Tiger because he was really interesting. I mean, he was this guy, man. He wants to do the right thing. He wants to set both slaves, whether human or fishmen, free from the Tenrai Bitu. But he himself, man, he's got some demons in him. He really cannot stand humans. Like, deep down, he tries to be friends with humans, but in the end, he couldn't have that happen to him. I mean, he couldn't bear with it, even though he met Koala and they bonded and they had a good relationship. But after that, he still hated humans because they pretty much betrayed him. And I feel sorry for him. And what else? Holy Jones. Holy Jones is still a crappy villain. I mean, at the beginning, he was kind of interesting because he seemed kind of calm and he had like this whole plan going on. He didn't seem like berserk as he does right now. And I remember this one part where he said this line like about Arlong, saying Arlong was too barbaric or something in order to like, you know, carry out his plans or something. And right now in later chapters, after he got the ES pill transformation bullshit, he's pretty much acting the same way. He's acting barbaric and shit, like, oh, we shouldn't act barbaric and shit. But he's acting barbaric right now, like, what the fuck, Hody Jones? Yeah, Hody Jones, he's supposed to be an empty villain. I know that's the way Oda wants to do. He's getting this whole racism, discrimination, prejudice thing built up. I mean, Oda's not the first person to do this. There are other mangaka that have done this before. And the way Oda's doing it is alright, but I think he's doing a little bit too much. I mean, okay, we get it, this racism and prejudice. We get it now. And Hody Jones, he's pretty much, you know, he got, ever since he was a kid, the Fishmen have been drilling these thoughts, this way of acting into his head ever since he was a kid. And he grew up like this. He's just an empty shell filled up with hatred from other fishmen. And it just built up and built up and built up until he reached this point where he lost his fucking mind. It's just fucking crazy. Like I said, this isn't a great arc. It's not the best arc in the series, but it's still a really good arc. It's really good when you reread it, like I did. I reread, what was it? I started on Thursday, and today is Monday. So, I read 42 chapters in 4 days. So, that tells you how good his arc is, because I would not read that many chapters in a week, at least. So, there's some good water. And what else is there? The villains, The villains are alright. What's his name? Haozu. Haozu is a big disappointment. He was set up to be the strongest swordsman in Fishman Island, but he pretty much just didn't do anything that was, you know, outstanding. I mean, when Zoro fought up against him, you know, he had the whole ES pill transformation shit, so he was supposed to be all badass and shit, but he couldn't even kill Zoro's boredom. So he was a big disappointment. I mean, unless he has a trick up his sleeve, which is not gonna work. So big disappointment right there. Zio is just funny. He's funny. Most of the new Fishman pirates are joke villains. I mean, they're just there to make you laugh and stuff. I don't really hate them. I don't really care for them. Jinbei. I like Jinbei from Marineford, but I liked him more in his arc because he seemed more commanding. He seemed to have more authority in this arc. You know, you could see how the people like respected him. They respected Jinbei like he was like a boss, a mafia boss. In fact, I remember this one part where Arlong compared Jinbei to a mafia boss, which is pretty cool. And Arlong, Arlong was alright. I mean, we only saw him in that flashback. I am really happy Oda did not show Arlong as a kid, because that would have made us had to sympathize with him. I do not want to sympathize with Arlong. I'm glad he still had the whole, you know, douchebag mentality, you know, in the flashback. He didn't act all, you know, young and innocent and pure and shit. He was still a douchebag. So I'm glad Oda did that, because he kind of hinted at young Arlong. He showed like a silhouette of him, but that's all that he showed, which is good. But you're not supposed to like Arlong. You're not supposed to care for Arlong. Arlong works better as a villain you're supposed to hate. What else? Dekken. I don't really care for Dekken. He was pretty funny sometimes, but I really don't care for him that much. He's, like I said, he's alright. Dekken, I was gonna say something. Dekken is... Yeah, he's obsessed with Shirahoshi, yeah. He's obsessed with Shirahoshi because, you know, his ancestors want to use the power to, like, summon the Sea Kings. I really don't care for Dekken. He's just there. He's like a buggy villain. Yeah, that's what. He is a buggy villain. He's just a villain who is a threat, but is also a joke. He's there for, like, comic relief. And, he's just there to make you laugh. I mean, you can't like be scared of him because he's just joking around all the time. But I still prefer Decken to Hody because Hody is he's not a horrible villain. He's not the worst villain in One Piece, but he's still a pretty bad villain because, like I say, he's empty inside and shit. He's empty. He can't do shit to Luffy. He relies too much on these fucking ES pills instead of his own strength. I mean, he knows Fishman karate, but he doesn't even use that much. He just uses the Wabashumi Sami water droplet shit. And Neptune. I liked Neptune more when I reread this. I liked him a lot more. I mean, he's a really good character. I like Neptune. He didn't like, it wasn't like a lot of focus on him, but I really like Neptune. I also like Fukaboshi. I don't care about the other brothers. They're just there, but Fukaboshi, I really liked him more in this arc. But the whole theme of this arc is the whole discrimination, prejudice. That's what Oda's trying to get across. And it's something we don't usually see in One Piece. I mean, it was hinted at back in the Arlong arc, and it was hinted at in Shabadi Archipelago. And this is where it's like, where we're like getting the backstory of all this shit that's happening with the Fishmen. And, some people say, oh, I don't care about the Fishmen, I just want to go to the New World, We're going to get to the New World when we get to the New World, alright? Oda's not going to rush an arc. And then people say, oh, this arc is too long, it's dragging on. How do you know it's dragging on? Are you Oda's editor? Do you work for Oda? Do you know how long Oda has planned this arc? No, you don't. No, you don't. This arc could go on for 2 years. That could be Oda's plan. Oda could make this shit go on for 2 years if he wants to. Like I said, but there's nothing else I want to say. That's just all I want to say. Like I said, this is a pretty good arc. It's not finished yet. I give it about 7 or 8 more chapters before it ends. Yeah, 7 or 8 more chapters before this arc ends, before it wraps up. And after it wraps up, I'm going to reread it again. Because, gotta reread it. And then I'm going to give my full thoughts and my full opinion on this arc. So this right here, this is just my thoughts after rereading the chapters instead of just reading it one chapter a week. I reread the arc one chapter after the next, after the next, after the next, after the next. I marathoned it. And then I'm giving my thoughts right now. Like I said, my thoughts have changed. Before I thought it was okay and decent. Now I think that this is a pretty good arc. It's pretty good. But yeah. That's all I gotta say. So, if you guys want to judge this arc, I suggest you guys reread it. If you want to marathon it, then go ahead and marathon it before you give your full thoughts on it. I would compare this arc to Skypiea, really, because a lot of people did not like Skypiea when it came out. Because they were like waiting like a week for one chapter and so on and so on. But when I read Skypiea, I read it like in one go. I read like one volume in like 2 hours. So I think I read the entire arc in like 2 days. And I liked it. I really like Skypiea. It's one of my favorite arcs. It's one of my top favorite arcs. And a lot of people really like Skypiea after rereading the arc and marathon it. So that's the thing with One Piece arcs. They work better when you read the whole arc in one sitting. That's just how it works. But I think that's the way Oda operates when he does his stories, his arcs. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. So I'll see you guys later. Keep on keeping on and do whatever. Peace.